Wait, guys, I'm so confused because people on Twitter last week were saying that Rachel Zegler was never going to be in another project ever again after Snow White. And this week, she was cast alongside an Oscar-winning actress, Marissa Tomei, in a comedy drama, She Gets It From Me. That's so crazy. Anyway, our girl is booked and busy. She's getting ready for a play on the West End.
Oh, here we go. Shit, man. Okay.
And to everyone who hates when I win, the winged victory came to the Louvre in pieces, and people still line up to see her. And I can only hope that despite my flaws, and despite my cracks and my breaks, and there are many of them, that at every premiere and everything I do, people will wait in line to see.
So did you go directly from West Side? Like, did you have to audition for Snow White, or like, oh, they saw you in West Side Story, they're like, you're Snow White?
West Side Story was kind of nowhere near coming out. We were about like 6 months away from release, and no footage had been seen. And I actually got a really glowing recommendation from Steven Spielberg to Mark Webb, who directed Snow White, saying that. And I also got a text from Steven kind of alluding to the fact that I had gotten the part before I had found out. Because I wished him a happy Father's Day, as one does, and and he texted me a bunch of apple emojis as a response.
And did that only, oh, so that,
I like, didn't know yet.
Right. Oh, very interesting, very clever, very Steven Spielberg.
Yeah. There's a whole lot of drama swirling around Rachel Zegler's latest project. And honestly, it's juicier than most of the movies coming out this year. What was supposed to be her big triumphant comeback has reportedly screeched to a halt. Not just delayed, not creatively reworked, fully spectacularly shut down mid-production. Officially, the studio's scrambling for polite excuses, blaming everything on scheduling conflicts and production adjustments. The Hollywood version of saying nothing to see here, but anyone paying attention knows the real story isn't nearly that tidy.
The dumb things I've said, I don't absolve myself from that. I'm not sitting here being like, I'm 21, please forgive me. Like, the stupid I've said and done is stupid. But I just want to say, in my personal life, I intend to move forward with a lot more grace for myself. As I grow, there is a lot that I don't know, and I won't know it until I learn it, until I feel it, until I understand it, until I can see it in my hands and say, I am not broken, I am just learning. My break is not my end.
According to insiders hovering dangerously close to the action, things had been going downhill on set long before the camera stopped rolling. And spoiler alert, it wasn't the budget, the weather, or technical problems that triggered the shutdown. It was, allegedly, Rachel herself. Sources close to the production paint a picture of growing tension, attitude flare-ups, and one nuclear-grade meltdown that finally pushed the director to slam on the brakes. In short, it wasn't just bad luck. It was a slow-motion disaster everyone saw coming at Troyes, and apparently no one could stop. Apparently the tension didn't erupt overnight. It built up like a bad sequel nobody asked for. It started small. Rachel allegedly rolling her eyes during line readings, strolling onto set late with her coffee like she was stopping by a casual brunch, and acting visibly bored during rehearsals. According to one lighting technician, it felt less like she was there to work and more like she was doing everyone a massive favor just by showing up.
I never want it to come off as me being ungrateful for the opportunities I have. When I tell you that it's hard, I just mean to be inside my brain. And I'm there 24/7, I can't get out of it.
At first, people chalked it up to stress, long hours, maybe even nerves. Happens to the best of them, right? But when those little red flags were brushed aside, things allegedly took a sharper turn. Whispers started that Rachel wasn't just grumbling between takes, she was openly challenging the script itself. Insiders claim she wanted major rewrites to better suit her personal image, even though the screenplay had already been locked in. It wasn't just tweaking a few lines, it sounded like she wanted to reshape her character entirely. And that was before the real explosion hit. The breaking point came when a simple direction session spiraled out of control. The director gave Rachel basic notes on timing and delivery, but instead of a professional nod she allegedly snapped, accused him of undermining her, and stormed off set in full costume mid-scene. With cameras still rolling and extras awkwardly frozen, the atmosphere turned toxic. A supporting actor reportedly refused to work without a mediator, the makeup team rotated shifts to avoid her, and one assistant called the set a full-blown nightmare.
Let her go! That's Roxy girl! Eli! Remember our instant messages? I would boot you up just to see if she was online. You don't want to hurt her. She's the girl of my dreams.
Meanwhile, Rachel reportedly framed herself as the victim, insisting she was being targeted, even as crew members quietly dusted off their resumes. Behind the scenes, she scrambled to control the narrative, reaching out to publicists and journalists she'd previously clashed with, but it was too late. Even her loyal fans were split, with many admitting it was hard to keep defending her behavior. And worst of all, this wasn't even her movie. She was supposed to support someone else's vision, not hijack it. Instead, the spotlight stayed glued to her for all the wrong reasons. The more she leaned into the victim narrative, the more the public simply moved on. Nothing's harsher than the silence after a public meltdown, and Rachel's learning that the hard way. Normally, a few "she's great to work with" posts pop up. This time, nothing. No Instagram shoutouts, no vague "sending love" tweets, just cold, awkward silence. Even former co-stars are dodging questions, offering stiff, wishing everyone the best responses that basically scream, "Keep me out of this mess." The studio's reaction wasn't much better. Instead of backing her up, they issued dry production adjustment statements. Hollywood's version of ghosting with paperwork. Fallout came fast. A rising actress bailed from a future project with Rachel, citing creative differences, and agents are quietly steering their clients away. Even journalists who once hyped her are side-eyeing old interviews with new skepticism. Then Rachel decided to go live on Instagram. Hoodie up, heavy sarcasm, eye rolls galore. Mocking the situation instead of addressing it. Spoiler, it tanked. Viewers weren't sympathetic. They were stunned and wondering why she was acting like the victim instead of owning anything. And just when it seemed bad enough, Rachel kept going. Rachel's meltdown didn't just cause headlines. It triggered a brutal silence. No supportive posts, no "sending love" tweets. Just an industry quietly backing away. Former co-stars dodged questions, offering stiff, wishing her the best replies, while the studio stuck to cold legal statements about production adjustments.
Wish actors and actresses would just shut up. I mean, you really talk about the 90s. You didn't know at the Pretty Woman premiere what Julia Roberts' thoughts on Palestine were, did we? But now we have to know. Now every actress has to have an opinion on something, and I'm really over it. I mean, the Gal Gadot and also the Rachel Zegler, they basically cancelled each other's audiences out because one pro-Palestine, one pro-Israel, and that's why we're seeing empty theaters, because the audiences have gone, I don't like that, but I don't like this, so I'm just not going to show up. And that is the problem with all these people thinking that they have some sort of voice. I mean, the woman who made that Imagine video at the start of the pandemic with all those other actors and said, oh, imagine there's no heaven. It's like, oh my God, stop. We don't want your politics.
Actors, they should put gags on them, not allow them to talk.
The fallout came fast. One rising actress dropped out of a future project, and agents started steering their clients away. Even journalists are rereading Rachel's old interviews, and not in a flattering light. Then came the Instagram Live. Hoodie up, sarcasm flying, mocking the situation instead of addressing it. Spoiler, it bombed. Viewers weren't supportive, they were hot, they were stunned. And Rachel, she just kept going. No more casual Instagram lives while still wearing the costume. No more spicy TikTok rants about creative differences. No more treating a multi-million-dollar production like a personal diary. And the sad irony? Rachel branded herself as the face of this new, authentic Gen Z Hollywood. Bold, outspoken, real. But now, after the chaos she's unleashed, executives are starting to view realness as a serious liability instead of an asset. Her situation hasn't just changed how they see her. It's changing how they view every new rising star walking into an audition with a viral following and a fiery Twitter history.
The gal who's playing Snow White, she's got another viral hit.
I'm gonna stand there 18 hours in a dress of an iconic Disney princess. I deserve to be paid for every hour that it is streamed online.
So she's out there protesting with SAG-AFTRA, the actors union. Yeah, I'm the star in the new Snow White movie, but if I've got to go out there and wear that stupid dress and play pretend, and I have to be a little girl's dream, and I need to make believe for my job, and I need to receive adulation and praise and lots of money. If I have to do that, damn it, I'm going to make even more money. Boy, my life is so hard. A person with that attitude is incapable of happiness.
And it's not just Rachel feeling the fallout. Other Gen Z stars, and even ones with squeaky clean images, are suddenly finding themselves under the microscope. Talent agents are reportedly combing through old tweets, publicists are double-checking interview clips, and managers are warning their clients to cool it online for the foreseeable future. One rising actress, known for her activist posts, was allegedly told to go dark on social media for 6 months, while negotiations for her next big project are underway. Another young star reportedly deleted an entire thread criticizing studio executives, just hours after signing a multi-picture deal. Hollywood spent years trying to market authenticity, cast bold voices, appeal to younger audiences, celebrate unfiltered stars. But now, thanks to Rachel's very public crash and burn, the industry is starting to wonder if some stars are just too authentic for their own good. The message behind the scenes is getting louder. Being outspoken might get you trending, but it might also get you quietly blacklisted before you even realize it. The anxiety rippling through Hollywood isn't just about Rachel anymore. It's about what her downfall represents for the entire next wave of talent.
You really have the perfect, most princess voice for this. That's what everyone is saying too. I mean, of course, we know your singing voice is amazing, but talk to me about transitioning into this princess.
It's an inner child healing story that, you know, through which I got to heal some inner child in me, which is really amazing. She's 14, and so getting to embrace that youth again and that innocence, but also that stubbornness of belief that there is good in people. It's a really beautiful thing to get to revisit.
What was the healing that 14-year-old within you got from this role?
Stay true to yourself. It's going to be okay.
Which you've done.
Thank you.
You have done so well, and can't wait to see you in Snow White. You just got some pretty high praise from Brandy, Miss Princess herself.
Yeah, she's the most wonderful ever, and I love her dearly. She was kind of the blueprint for me. The idea that I could do something like Snow White came from watching her and Whitney Houston do Cinderella. Getting her stamp of approval and getting her words of wisdom, she really is the most amazing woman, and I admire her greatly.
Casting directors, studio executives, even publicists are all looking a little more carefully now. They're not just asking, can this person act? They're asking, can this person survive a press tour without setting themselves and us on fire? Executives are quietly reevaluating their shortlist. Agents are prepping young stars for interviews with double the usual amount of media training. Even relatively minor incidents are getting flagged early now, long before they turn into full-blown Twitter threads or messy TikTok takedowns. Thanks to Rachel, Hollywood is learning the hard way that viral fame and lasting star power aren't the same thing. Just because someone can generate headlines doesn't mean they're worth betting millions of dollars on, especially if those headlines come with lawsuits, walkouts, or trending hashtags calling for replacements. The days of letting rising stars run wild on social media, unfiltered and unchecked, are officially over.
I had no idea what I was auditioning for when I auditioned. So it's a kind of a hilarious question to say, like, what drew you to the material? Is that, like, I didn't realize that I was reading lines with Dopey. It said, like, Jeff and Amy were reading lines. And then our director, Mark Webb, on Zoom was like, you know, and then Dopey's gonna look at you and whistle. And I took a pause and realized what I was auditioning for. And then it became like, I will elbow everyone out of the way to play the part.
The big question now is whether Rachel Zegler can actually make a comeback, or if Hollywood has already very quietly moved on. Comeback stories aren't rare in this town. We've seen stars fall harder and bounce back higher, but usually there's some kind of safety net. A powerful director willing to vouch for you, a fan base still rallying behind you, or at least a publicist who hasn't blocked your number. In Rachel's case, there's mostly silence. Deafening, awkward silence. The co-stars who used to praise her are nowhere to be found. Directors she once worked with are politely sidestepping questions. Even journalists who once hyped her up seem to have hit the mute button. When you lose not just the media, but the industry insiders too, it's not a good sign.
This has been the honor of a lifetime, I think. Any young person, any little girl, you get to put on a Disney princess dress and be her for a day, let alone 6 months of shooting in London on these incredible sets in a Sandy Powell design dress. It's just been the most amazing experience, and I can't wait to share it with you all. We, along with our amazing director, Mark Webb, our entire cast and crew, we have worked so incredibly hard to bring this iconic story to life, and we are so excited to give you a sneak peek at the film. And as you know, there will be so many new songs that are amazing by Oscar Award winners Pasek and Paul. But here for Beach 23, we're going to show you a classic. Let's take a look.
It's starting to feel less like a rough patch and more like Hollywood leaving Rachel Zegler on red. Some insiders are calling it a reverse Cinderella story. She went from rising star to industry outcast, except instead of a glass slipper, she lost her audience. The same people who once rooted for her now turn her into memes and fan edits, recasting her with someone else. And in Hollywood, public perception is everything. Once people stop cheering and start laughing, a comeback becomes an uphill battle with no guarantee of a return. What's worse is Rachel doesn't seem to get how bad it's become. Instead of pulling back, she's doubling down. Sarcastic TikToks, moody captions, and an online presence that feels more like performance art than damage control. She's not setting up a comeback. She's live streaming her own downfall. Meanwhile, Hollywood is quietly moving on. Studios are rewriting the playbook for rising stars. Be real, but not too real. Speak up, but don't sabotage the brand. And Rachel? She's becoming a cautionary tale. That rom-com she was cast in? Sources say it's being recast, quietly. No drama. Just a polite Hollywood oops. Worse, her downfall is sparking industry-wide change. With social media blurring the lines between actor and brand, studios are rethinking how they handle fame. And Rachel is the warning label now stuck to every new contract. Can she bounce back? Maybe, but the spotlight has already moved on. The real legacy? She's changed the rules for everyone.